Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. We are here. It's Super Bowl week. Super Bowl 59 is just a few days away, and one half of the Birds vs. Boys pod is in the game, in the moment, trying to win their second Super Bowl ever. If you are watching on YouTube, you can see Aidan has the Super Bowl 59 hat on, and I have Super Bowl 30 champions hat on. Last time the Dallas Cowboys were in the Super Bowl. So you can do that math. I don't have to do the math for you. It's Super Bowl 59. That was Super Bowl 30. I'm not a mathematician, but you can do the math. How are you, everyone? KMS, Aidan, Super Bowl is here. But Aidan, I'm going to give you one precaution before we start the show.
Okay, I might need it.
No, you're not going to like it. So the last time the Eagles were in the Super Bowl, they played the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
My daughter is now going to be 3 years old in a couple weeks. So she was about 11 months old at that age. A couple days before the Super Bowl, she got the stomach bug, throwing up everywhere. Hasn't had that since today.
Sure.
Not the stomach bug. Nope. Until today, or yesterday, technically, right before this Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Guess what? Stomach bug. Happy Super Bowl.
Happy Super Bowl week. I'll tell you what, though.
Pray for me, everybody, that I don't get it, please.
That too. Actually, pray that Kevin does get it because he was sick the last time the Eagles won the Super Bowl. No.
I was sick for the last Super Bowl when they lost.
Never mind. Okay, then yes, I am praying that you don't get it then. Everybody stay healthy and safe. I actually had this mental conversation with myself in my head. I am so locked in, by the way, that just like the Eagles are, I thought about this because I have a birthday party on Saturday. A few different things. Was going to do a class at the gym. All places that got germs. All those places have germs. I was like, well, I can't get sick the day before the game, right? Nope. So I've thought about this. I'm like, do I lock myself in like a chamber heading up to the game because we got to be in prime peak condition?
Well, and you have to think of it two ways. One, it's you have a birthday party and a gym class the day before, so. Yes. You may not be sick for the game. However, if you do get like norovirus, that is like a 12 to 24 hours, so that'll hit you quick.
What I'm thinking.
But you also don't want to get something else that lingers, may not hit you for 3 or 4 days, and then you're sick for the parade.
Yeah, I like the way that you're thinking parade already. I like the thought of this. But you're right, though. I've considered all options.
Nothing else is worth it right
now. I'm so dedicated. I'm so locked in. As we record this, I'm still in excited mode. It's funny that we record this. I'm going to shift into anxiety mode real soon here. We're at the final stages of excited mode, where it's still a cool spectacle that Media Week's going on at the Super Bowl week down there in New Orleans. New Orleans looks awesome. Looks like there's a lot of Eagles fans already. So I'm just excited at the current time. It's going to change real fast the closer we get to the weekend, and I will hit that real soon. Trust me.
Yeah, I think Thursday into Friday is when you morph into anxiety mode.
It will quite literally be. So I don't know how this keeps happening to me at work, but Fridays end up being my busy day, which is like the opposite for most people. So
that's actually a good thing for you this Friday.
What's that?
That's a good thing for you this Friday.
That's what I was thinking. And I think, that'll be a good thing for me. But I thought about it and I was like, I'll work my normal 8 to 5. And I'll be locked in. I'll be focused because I'll have to be, and I'll have to be productive. It's going to hit 5 o'clock, 5:30, whenever I get off, close the laptop, and it's just going to be a wave. Like it'll be at the beach when you were little and you were playing around and you had your back turned. All of a sudden, tide change, boom, hit you. That'll be the anxiety hit me for the Super Bowl. Again, still really confident in the boys. We'll get into all the schematics, if you will, of the game, but that is where I think I'm at mentally. Friday, 5:01, laptop shuts, bang, boom, rush for the game.
It's funny how you talk about anxiety mode. So I was talking to a good friend of mine, buddy, that I work with. He's had season Eagles tickets since 1987. I think
I can get season tickets.
Yeah, in the 100th level, he's like 3 rows off the field. Him and his son, he's got 2 tickets. They go to every game. But they go on business trips. Like they park off of Packer Ave. They don't tailgate. They walk in. They go to the game. They're locked in. They leave. They go get a slice of pizza, wait for the traffic, they go home. They've gone to, I think, all of the Super Bowls they went to the Jacksonville one, blah, blah, blah. They were at the last one in Arizona. He said the problem, he gets these packages, you go and the whole thing. They used to have a 2-day package. He's like, now the only thing you can get is 3-day packages. So he's going out Friday. He's like, you know how long we're going on? He goes, we're going on a business trip. You know how long that is to sit around in fucking New Orleans for 3 days waiting for a game to play? He's like, no, I want to get in. I want to go to the game and I want to get out. I'm not there to party, he said.
Exactly. Too many distractions for old Aidan. If I was allowed 3 days on Bourbon Street before the game, I gotta be focused. I gotta be locked in. I gotta be detailed. I will say this: screwed up on our part. Thank you, everybody who loves Birds vs. Boys. Everyone who has participated this year. What a ride it has been. If I knew it was this easy to get media credentials and ask idiotic questions, I would have applied us and gone down for the week and then come home for the game. I'm seeing TikToks of people in our bubble in terms of recognition down there. I'm hearing some questions that I'm like, well, I don't have a lot of confidence in myself, but I know I could do better than that. So I kind of messed up by not sending us down there. And I would have brought Vince and I'd have been like, just film everything and we'll cut it up later.
Our guy, RJ Ochoa, one of the ones I think, well, I would put him above our pedestal, but he's doing a good job down there. And it's actually, it's funny seeing like the cat. He showed a picture and it was Brandon Aubrey and Zach Martin sitting at a table getting ready to do an interview on Radio Row in these bright ass green Bounty paper towel sweatshirts with a bunch of wings in front of them. They're just like shopping Bounty. And I'm like, those motherfuckers just want to kill themselves right now. Like thinking about the Eagles are getting ready for the game. And here they are sitting in bright green, orange Bounty paper towel zip ups on Radio Row talking to some guy from San Antonio. 96.4, the Heat, San Antonio. We're here with Brandon Aubrey and Zach Martin. They're brought to you by Bounty paper towels.
They just had the same thing. They had a Fred Warner on the Pat McAfee show. He's wearing an Experian polo, and they're like, "All right, Fred, so you screwed up your chance here at a Super Bowl victory against the Chiefs. What do the Eagles have to do differently?" And he goes, "Thanks for having me. I'm here on behalf of Experian. So here's how we screwed it up. We weren't clutching that fourth quarter, but thank you to Experian."
Oh, it's so funny. It's so, but I agree. We need to get down Radio Row soon. Where the next couple are, well, I don't even know where they are. It's sounding like 2029 is going to be back in Dallas Fort Worth. And also, it sounded like your owner wants to put a dome on so you can start getting Super Bowls in Philadelphia.
It really does. I think the complex in South Philadelphia that today will look very different within 2 to 3 years. A lot of what the Flyers are doing, the Eagles are playing a part in that. Sixers exist, but a lot more apartment living, more restaurants, and I think it's going to be an area that becomes a spectacle, like a few other places are. So I think I don't know if we'll get a dome, and that'll take a while. But you're right. It sounds like he wants to have events like that. Draft, by the way. You see where it's going to be in 2 years? Pittsburgh.
Ooh, not too far.
Dude, we can get on the turnpike for that one.
Man, I've never been to Pittsburgh either. Never
really?
Been. Would love to. Yeah, heard it's a great city.
Great city. I love it. I'm biased, but
on this whole realm too, and you mentioned the Sixers existing, these trades in the NBA, Dallas radio right now. I mean, it doesn't matter. The Cowboys don't exist. It's just Luka trade nonstop. And I was trying to think in my head, okay, what is the equivalent in an NFL trade of how outlandish this trade was? And I was like, it would be like Jerry sending Micah to the Eagles for Darius Slay and like a 3rd round pick in 4 years.
Yeah, that's a great one. Who's the third best quarter? It's literally trading Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson for that trade package that you just mentioned.
Yeah,
that's what that was.
And the funniest part was like Nico Harrison, Rob Blanket, like they're really good friends. And well, Nico thought he was good friends with him. and like they had a package that was much bigger, ready to go. Did you hear about this? They're talking about they had a package that was much bigger, ready to go, and then Pelinka started talking to Nico down, like, yeah, you know what, we have the bigger risk here taking on Luka with his drinking and how his weight. I mean, I think we gotta think about this. And he talked him down into the trade that they had.
Crazy.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, not only did they trade him, they got a worse package than they could have got for him. It's the defining
everybody
trade
else around the league had no idea. I heard one NBA exec was like, if we knew that, we would have given up everything to get Luka.
Yeah. The Jazz, who were the third team who just needed to take on picks to make this happen, didn't know that it was Luka being traded. They were involved in the trade and didn't know that he was being traded.
Unbelievable.
It is a defining trade in NBA history, in sports history. It is truly, I told you guys this story, but it's one of those moments you'll always remember where you are. I'm standing in line, there's a line for the bathroom, and it's like individual stalls. So you just got to wait. Next person goes in the stall at the bar. So the kid in front of me, two of them open up, and he goes in one, I go in the other, and he goes, the Lakers just traded for Luka. And I'm like, this kid is beyond drunk. I have no idea what he's talking about at the bar that he thinks that the Lakers got Luka. And I'm washing my hands, and I'm like, let me just check. Let me just check Twitter. I'm like, there's no way. I went back to the table, and I'm like, that kid just told me that they traded Luka, and he wasn't lying. They just traded him to the Lakers, and we're like, what?
I do feel a little bad for Anthony Davis because it's not his fault. You know what I mean? And he's getting shit, but that's and you see Luka just bought a $16 million mansion in Dallas like 3 days earlier.
That is rough. I heard he was in tears. Yeah, 16 million. Wow.
Brutal.
All right. Yeah, that's an absolutely brutal thing. Tough week for Dallas. All right.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy, though. We've covered the NBA. We've covered the draft in 2026. Let's cover the Super Bowl 59. As you can see on my T-shirt, I bought it in my gym parking lot out of a tent. It is beautiful. I love it.
I will say that this was my most disappointing part of the Eagles making the Super Bowl again where I live. I said, fuck, I got to deal with those tents everywhere again and just seeing them on every single corner that I drive by. And I'm like, and it just, I can't even get to a stoplight without being reminded that the Eagles are in the Super Bowl because there's a tent with 85 shirts.
I passed two. I went to get gas, hit one, and then made it to the gym, and there's another one. I love it. I think I'm exclusively buying my Eagles merchandise from now on out of tents. And like I said, these are great because they're not officially licensed, so it just says Philadelphia football, not Eagles football. It's the city skyline, but it's made out of half of the skyline. There's no Comcast tower there. It's the skyline before Comcast. So that's interesting. And then it's made out of players, but it's not the star players. So some big names are here. One of the towers is Braden Mann, the punter. Another one is Bryce Huff. He makes up the other tower. We got long snapper Rick Lovato on here. I have not found Quinyon Mitchell or Cooper DeJean yet, but I have found the backup cornerback, Isaiah Rodgers. Who?
Is Pickett right above Hurts?
Pickett is one of the names that is front and center. You are correct. It's one of the biggest names on here. It goes Hurts and then Pickett. It's Britton Covey is also a fairly large name on this. Kenny
is Saquon at least on there? Is Saquon on there?
His name's pretty small. You might get it lost because it's sandwiched near Kenny Gainwell's name, who's pretty big, and Britton Covey's name, who's pretty big. And then he's also next to the Kenny Pickett one that you pointed out. So it's beautiful. Perfect. And also, it has no reference to the Super Bowl. It's just the Super Bowl Roman numerals above the skyline. So if you don't follow football, it's just floating Roman numerals. It's the greatest shirt I've ever bought. It was an absolute must purchase.
To buy. Must buy.
I love it.
I'm getting nervous, Aidan.
I'm getting nervous too. Game itself. Tell me how, from a non-biased, non-Chiefs Eagles fan, thoughts on how it plays out. What are you looking for? Keys to either the Chiefs or the Eagles.
So just straight up going into this game, my feeling is twofold. One, I think the Eagles are the better team. overall. I think they have star power everywhere. They have a mad Australian man playing tackle who just laughs down the field and then turns into Bane. So that's scary. Saquon Barkley's been playing out of his mind. And I believe that they are better than they were the last time they played the Chiefs. And I don't know if the Chiefs are better. However, the Chiefs have Mahomes, Andy Reid, and arguably the best defensive coordinator of all time. So that's kind of the tipping point. It's like, okay, which way are we going to tip? And that's what is making me feel like it is going to be, I don't want to say a historic game, but I really feel like it's going to be a battle. There's no Sodfather that's going to be in effect here.
Yes.
I know that, and we have two colossal things that are, what is that? An immovable object meets something force, like what's going to give way? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have the Chiefs going for a three-peat, which they started talking about the three-peat before they even won last year's Super Bowl, by the way, where the three-peat actually started against the Eagles. And then you have the Eagles who just have this chip on their shoulder that I think we've seen all year. Jalen Hurts literally has the picture of himself still walking off the field as the background of his phone. You can't tell me he's been focused on this game since that moment. And they've brought in so many reinforcements to prepare them exactly for this moment. And guys that they brought in are playing ahead of where I believe they expected them to play at this point. And then other guys that have finally flourished into what they had hoped they would be, like a Nolan Smith and Jordan Davis. So I honestly think it's like, and this is my other thought, like last time Chiefs went down the field, penalty, you didn't give Hurts a chance with the ball back at the end. This time, I could see it being close. Chiefs go up, I don't know, 30-28, something like that, with a field goal at the end. Minute 26 left. And the scary part is minute 26 and like a timeout or two doesn't mean it's all throwing anymore when you have Saquon Barkley in the back, right?
True.
Like they can still run the ball. And it has been such a harrowing season for Jake Elliott. Is he done? He's missing extra points. He used to be Mr. Automatic. He won them that game against the Bills in the fucking pouring down rain and sleet. And I could see Jake Elliott hitting like a 52-yarder to win this game 32-31. That's the type of game I think it's going to be.
A lot of the people on TikTok are agreeing around the score level that you had, where it's like early 30s, low 30s, and like a field goal difference. I think it's very 50-50 split on how they feel about these two teams. I will say this, and for the Eagles, I agree with you. I think they're a better team than they were in 2022. It's key positions too. Defensive tackle sticks out the most to me, where that year it was Fletcher Cox, it was rookie Jordan Davis, who didn't play a ton, and then like Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh on the final final last leg of their career. This time around, it's Jalen Carter, it's Milton Williams going into a new contract.
You thought Linval Joseph was at the end of his career until Dallas tried to bring him back when his career was really over.
Yes.
Thank you.
He was. They did the same thing with Jason Peters too. He was at the end of his career with the Eagles, and the Cowboys were like, "No, you're not." So yeah, D tackle sticks out. The obvious one is going to be the secondary. You got C.J. Gardner-Johnson out there with Reed Blankenship instead of Marcus Epps at safety. So you hope that kind of evens things out. Although I'm a little concerned. We'll get into it about the tight ends. Corners are better with Quignon. It was a solid linebacking core that year. TJ Edwards is good. I think Kazir White was really solid. But you're going with Zach Bond this year for sure, who's been playing at an all-pro level. And just like a bunch of heady guys who, if there's a turnover, they're quickly on the ball. So they're better at a lot of key positions. They're a deep defense. I think they're a better defensive coordinator this time around. So I agree with you. I think this is a better team in 2022 versus 2024. That has me feeling confident. But as you said, if you stack them up 53 to 53, I think the Eagles are a better team. Not being biased, I just genuinely think they're better. But
Agreed.
It could be a situation just like the cinematic classic Space Jam. You could be the Monstars, and Michael Jordan could be playing with the TuneSquad, and it just doesn't even matter. He carries the TuneSquad to victory. And in this situation, Mahomes could be playing with the TuneSquad, playing against the Monstars, and it might just not matter because he's just that good. That's the fear that I have in the back of my mind. You mentioned, there's a minute left. There's one timeout. The Eagles have the ball. My biggest fear is it's the opposite. The Chiefs have the ball, a minute left and a timeout, and it's Mahomes going down the field. Like, that's the situation where, as an Eagles fan, and just like a fan of football, because I think a lot of people don't want to see the Chiefs win again, you're looking at that clock and you're like, please go faster. Please wind quicker. And I just don't want to end up in that position.
Isn't it amazing how slow that clock goes when you're on the defensive side of the ball as a fan, and how quickly you feel like it runs out when you're trying to get that score?
Oh my God. You are so right. And it's happened to the Eagles a few times this year where I'm just like, please, clock, move, just go quicker. Yeah. Commanders game on the road.
I'm like,
Field. I'm like,
I don't think they started the clock. They didn't start the clock. What are we doing?
I'd be like, all right, that took 5 seconds. That means they have like 3 or 4 plays left. I'm like, all right, if you tackle them in bounds, it's gonna be like 15 seconds. Like, I'm just count. Like, you just start. Nobody's better at math than a sports fan that is trying to figure out how many seconds left and how many plays you can get into those seconds when it's a 2-minute drill in the NFL.
And there was, I don't want to say people forget. The Eagles fans definitely don't forget, but like maybe some of the novice fans, of how in control of that last Super Bowl the Eagles were. Like moving. And then bang. Fumble. Wasn't it Nick Bolton runs it back? And that was just spine crushing. And then on a gimpy leg, that run at the end that Mahomes had.
Yeah.
And then obviously the penalty.
Yeah. So, before that fumble, it's a 3rd and inches. We get called for a false start. That turns it into 3rd and 6. 3rd and inches, it's an automatic tush push. We keep the ball. Let's keep it moving. Let's go. 3rd and 6, we go into a passing down. We fumble the ball. They go back the other way. They score a touchdown. Win the turnover battle. The Eagles have won the turnover battle in all 3 playoff games so far this year. They've done it in a huge way. Like, it's not like 1-0. They forced 3 turnovers against the Commanders. They had a huge fumble against the Rams that we called out that could happen. Jalen Carter punching the ball out of Kyren Williams, and then they run right back and got one out on Stafford as well. How did they start their playoff run? Special teams turnover against the Packers. So winning the turnover battle is huge. That is something that they did not do in the previous game. They didn't get a single stop in that second half. I'm much more confident in this defense, in this defensive scheme. And I think turnover battle has played a huge factor for them and will play a huge factor for them. If they win that turnover battle, you just like to start to like your chances a lot.
Yep. And I don't know, maybe catch the ball when it's in your hands down the field. Who was that?
Quez Watkins.
I mean, I would hope that, I don't know, if that's Dotson, he's making that catch.
I would hope so. I think there's always some guy in the Super Bowl, regardless of who's playing in it, that steps up that you're not used to being like the guy. So maybe it'll be Dotson. I am once again calling for a Devontae Smith game. If you go back in 2022, him and AJ had great games. I think Devontae, I say this again and again, but he seems to be made for big moments, whether it was catching the game winner in the national championship his freshman year or having 3 touchdowns in the national championship his Heisman year. And then big games in the Super Bowl. He's coming home to Louisiana area. Like, it just feels like Devontae could play a huge factor in this. And he'll have to. I think the key is going to be, like against the Commanders in the NFC Championship, the Eagles having success throwing the ball on early downs. That's Devontae. That's more so Dallas Goedert.
Yep. Oh, that's Dallas Goedert scares me in this game. I think he is besides Saquon, and he's going to be the chain. He just always, when they need a play, you need 7 yards, he gets you 12. You know what I mean? And it's just he's stiff arming a guy, or you need 8 and he gets you 47 down the sideline like he did in this stadium. What was that, week 2?
Yes, week 3. That was one of
Week
my
3.
favorite plays of the year. I know it wasn't a touchdown, but it's cool. You
You're
rarely
like, I don't
see
think
that
anybody's
in
back
an
there.
open area. Unhook the
I don't
trailer.
think there's a defender.
Unhook the trailer.
Has anyone had a better mic'd up season this year than Mulata now?
No, they have not, and I think Mulata will turn that into some dough, some money in the media. He's been so good. I think people like him. He's a charismatic character with an interesting story. That seems like a Disney movie that you could make from an Australian rugby player who never played football before and then turning into a Super Bowl champion. They could get, it feels like to me they made The Blind Side. They might as well make the Australian version of that kind of.
Yep. Speaking of Mulata, Australia, you mentioned the Rams. Eagles-Rams going to Australia next year to play a game. And also the connection to the Cowboys is you have to make the phone call. Call the Rams and see what they want for Cooper Kupp. That is the type of guy that would fit perfectly for the Cowboys and the offense that they're going to want to run. Heavy run schemes, right? They're bringing this new offensive coordinator who's a great run scheme. He is an extension of your run game as the possession receiver that he has. He would be the perfect fit for this Cowboys offense. Now, it's not what we're talking about today. It's Super Bowl week. We will get into more of the offseason, but I think he should be a target for the Cowboys this offseason.
That'd be a good one. And I think if you can get the Rams to pay for most of it, that's also a great one. You know who would be a good fit that's going to be traded for the Eagles?
Myles Garrett.
We'll
see where he goes. Browns are still saying they're not getting rid of him, but I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah, good luck with that. Back to the game, like you said, Dallas Goedert, I think he'll be huge. They were so good, so crisp in their RPO game. I think that's so key. With Hurts and the knee looking healthy, at least 2 weeks ago, now a bye week, if you will, their first bye week since week 5. It allowed the boys to get a little healthier. So hopefully, if Hurts is mobile back there, Saquon, who we know big time, could rip it off at any play. If you're able to kind of get them off balance and then add in that RPO feature and getting the ball out to Dallas Goedert like they did in the NFC Championship, I really like the way that you can keep defenses off balance there. Another thing with Goedert, they had a tight end screen that got called back in that Rams game. They had an illegal man downfield penalty. If they clean that up a little bit, Mekhi Becton was a little bit down the field. He's been great this year. Go back to that. This is going to be a really aggressive defense, and the Chiefs, I think they're going to blitz a lot. Counter that. Throw them the off-speed pitch. Slider in the dirt, and this is the football version. It's a tight end screen. Set that up to Goddard. Let him take off. Let's see if those secondary guys can tackle him. I think that'll be a huge key for the Eagles.
And, hey, Kellen, you're coaching in your new stadium, so light it up.
Maybe.
Huh?
Maybe. Okay. I know, like they said he was the odds-on favorite. Then 2 hours later, the Saints are helping the church cover up abuse. Like, I don't know. If I'm Kellen Moore and say the Eagles win the Super Bowl, he pitches the perfect game. They play really well on offense. They score 30-plus against Steve Spagnuolo and the Chiefs. A really good defense. He's a Super Bowl champion. You could ask for a variety of jobs next offseason and be a candidate. But
yes and no.
Is your dream job really the Saints, who don't have a quarterback? They have a losing record. It's a clear rebuild. And then you might get hit with repercussions of a scandal where the team is helping a church cover up abuse. Like, that doesn't feel dream jobby to me.
But it's NFL job and it's head coach job. And you hear so many of these guys that turn down coaching jobs and then it never comes again. And Kellen has been trying to get a head coaching job for years. He even tried to get Boise State, his alma mater, and he kept getting turned down. And you talk to Brian Schottenheimer now, and I know a lot of people forget that his name was like Kellen Moore years ago. He was the offensive coordinator for the Jets. He got them to 2 AFC championship games with Mark Sanchez. And he had 2 head coaching opportunities back-to-back years with the Dolphins and the Bills, and he turned them down. And then it took 19 years for him to get to this position. And he said I never thought it was going to happen again. So it's what I'm saying is it may not be dream jobby, but it's got to be so hard to say no.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I just worry that it kind of falls in line with what you're saying, that you wait for that opportunity and then they're gone and you never get that chance for a while.
Yep.
But I'm fearful that they go through all this. The Saints are a mess because they have an off-field scandal, a bad on-field product, and then he becomes the fall guy. He's out in 1 year, and then he's out an offensive coordinator job. He's out a head coaching job, and then you got to work your way back up through the system, and you kind of put yourself behind the 8 ball that way. So I'm kind of fearful, like you said, like you don't want to pass up the opportunity for it. I'm fearful if he doesn't pass up the opportunity, he might end up in that same pit of despair.
Yep. Yeah. It is a very, very, very tough position to be in.
Yeah. But I will say this is a lot different than the Gannon thing. I think in Super Bowl 22 or Super Bowl in 22, they expected him to be back. Fangio was the consultant. He took the role with the Dolphins because they didn't think he would be like they thought that Gannon was coming back. This is different. I feel like they know the situation. He interviewed last week. It is a full week of prep. He's been ready. Yep. He's focused on this game. This is a locked-in team. Everything about it just feels locked in. And we talked about this the last show that we did. There's no question on the test that is going to surprise you for the Eagles in terms of how this goes. The week of preparation, the theatrics that go on with like media night and such like that, your schedule for the week, the extended halftime, the lead up to the game. You're familiar with the opponent. You're familiar with the quarterback. You're familiar with the coaches on that other side. You have played them back-to-back years. This will be the 3rd time in 3 years. You're playing in the Superdome. You played there this season. You played there in September. Everything has a familiarity to it. So the moment itself shouldn't surprise you. Maybe there's something the Chiefs do during the game that could surprise you, but the moments itself should not surprise the Eagles. They looked very locked in.
And they've looked locked in, I would say more locked in throughout all the media coverage. I don't know if it was almost like awkward feeling when it was, I think it was Peter Schrager was up there interviewing Sirianni and Andy Reid next to each other up on the stage of media night. And Sirianni just didn't want to be anywhere near Andy Reid, seemed locked in. And then you see the other, like even Jalen Hurts locked in, but also a little bit of funny with the whole DNA thing. And then you see the other side with the Chiefs, and they're like getting angry about the ref thing, and they're like, Travis Kelce's like, I can't believe you're going in on this, and almost like getting mad. So it seems a little bit opposite than that.
It does.
Did you see the meme on Twitter? And it was just the lower half of Taylor Swift walking out of the Grammys with that red dress on, and her legs were just like looked great and looked built. And somebody was like, Jesus, what? They're like, Jesus, what is Taylor Swift training for? And then somebody commented on, well, somebody's got to stop Saquon on Sunday.
That they do. Her training routine, her cardio sessions must be insane. I did see that, though. That's funny. How do you do? I go to the gym every day. My legs look like chicken sticks.
That's my one spot where I actually have good.
Yeah, you got strong. You got the squat like Saquon.
That's it.
I try.
You'll get there, young pup.
Yes. Two things.
30s. Yep.
One's well, they're both serious to me, but one's serious in real life. The officials thing. I think a lot of people worried. Oh, they'll call it for the Chiefs. I'm telling you, as an Eagles fan, I'm not buying into that. I think that they want a good game of football. I think the NFL, the league itself, wants the discussion to be about the product on the field. Because if the Chiefs win on a controversial call, it'll be 6 months of discourse about the officiating and how the Chiefs are positively influenced by the officials. And that'll lead up to next year if the Chiefs win, and they're the opener. And guess what the talk will be going into the promotion of your opening of your league? The Chiefs and the officials again. I think that they don't want to have a Chiefs officials discourse.
Yep. I agree. And there's also going to be somewhat discourse already. I cannot believe that this is going to be the first time ever a sitting president is at the Super Bowl.
That's the first time ever?
Ever, they're saying. So, and he picked the Chiefs. So,
I'm shocked. He picked the Chiefs.
Shocked. But you thought one of my buddies that's going there, I'm like, you thought security was going to be locked in just on what happened in New Orleans last time. Now you better get in line 4 hours early.
I'd love Big Dom to meet the president. What do you think that interaction would go like? Them two standing next to each other. What do you think that'd look like? I think it'd be kind of funny.
I saw that Stephen A. Smith may be a potential running candidate for the Democrats in 2028. Can you imagine a Big Dom versus Stephen A. Smith presidential election?
The debates. I mean,
well, Stephen A. would just go to town for like 6 minutes on an answer, and then Big Dom would just be like, "No,
no."
Like just not. Has anyone even heard him talk?
No,
I don't think I've ever heard his voice.
That's the thing. He's been flying under the radar forever until that fight last year, and then now he's out there all the time. But no one ever really hears him talk.
Hilarious.
It is hilarious. The enforcer.
Right, so
I want him to meet the president.
You don't have to give me a prediction if you don't want, but like, give me what you actually think.
I'll bullet point it out for you as quick as I can. Sorry if this is long-winded, but I've been doing this on TikTok Live an hour every night for the past 8 days, so I've accumulated a lot of talking points along the way.
Long. My stomach is starting to feel a little strange here.
Oh God. Okay. Here's the deal. I'm confident about the Eagles.
Yep.
I go back to the point that we have made on the show multiple times. I need somebody to keep up with this offensive line for 4 quarters and stop Saquon for 4 quarters. I think they're so physical and so big that if they lean on you, you start to get tired. I think one jump cut from Saquon, he hits a 60-yard run, and it can alter your season in a negative way. On defense, we touched on it before. I think it's a deeper, better team than 2022. It's a more athletic front. The Chiefs have been really good, and AQ Shipley pointed this out on the Pat McAfee show, with Joe Thuney playing tackle now instead of guard.
Yep.
They don't put him in a lot of pass pro situations because they're running RPOs. So 1, that gets the ball out of Mahomes' hands quickly, and 2, it keeps edge rushers kind of off balance a little bit. The Eagles have been very good in the pursuit of quarterbacks, not overplaying them. They're very athletic between Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, guys like that. So they're very good in that pursuit. So it'll be interesting, that RPO action from the Chiefs versus kind of those edge rushers and just pass rushers overall for the Eagles. I'm confident in those guys winning the turnover battle. Another thing, I cannot stress this enough. They forced special teams turnovers, wild card game, NFC championship game. I said this at the end of the season. The way that Sidney Brown and Kaylee Ringo bust their ass down the field is championship level caliber. In 2022, what was wrong with the Eagles that helped the Chiefs? Bad special teams, punt returns that set them up in formidable situations for the Chiefs. Don't allow that to happen. You have the right guys in place for that. On offense for the Eagles, RPO action to Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert early downs. Use the pass to set up the run. Make sure that people aren't just crowding the box, stacking the box, and you can still run even if there's 8 guys in the box. If a safety comes down, just trust your guys up front that you can level them, and you can pancake them. You're big off the bus for a reason. You are big off the bus. You're bigger than them. But use the pass to set that up and then kind of put their head into a tailspin. For Jalen Hurts, you are going to get pressured a lot. How do you do with the blitz? That's going to be a key. I think what they did well in the NFC Championship, when the Commanders brought pressure, they were able to take their one-on-one shots to the guys. Most exemplary of that, 4th and 4, what do they do? Over the top to A.J. Brown for 31 yards. On the touchdown to A.J. Brown, 3 guys on one side. They bring pressure. One-on-one shot to A.J., touchdown. So that's going to be key. And then the designed runs, the timing of Hurts' designed runs has been great the past 2 games. Does that continue? If it does, I'm very, very confident in this team. I love this team. I love the ride. I'm so glad that we're here. I'm excited we're here. Let's finish the job. Let's finish the job.
And I will say this. This is the one thing I'm also asking for from the football gods. No big injuries in this game on either side. I want this game decided with the play. Like, I don't want Drake Greenlaw from last year. That was devastating, and that was game-changing.
Altered the game.
The way he was playing in the beginning of that game was unbelievable last year. So
in a good way,
no stupid injuries for either side. Let's let the boys play. and let's have a day. Okay.
Let the boys play. Let's have a day. Let's get them down the field. Let's go.
Yep.
I'm so excited. And I think I love this team. I love these guys. I want to see them win. I want Saquon to, host the Lombardi Trophy. If there's one person I could choose from the past decade to be a Super Bowl champion, it's Saquon, and we're so close. Another big game from him would be huge. And I wanted them to get him involved in the passing game too.
And I'm going to end with this. It hurts my heart. So I said my daughter is sick. She's at my grandma's house. My wife is in Florida for work. Today was her spirit day at school. She wasn't able to go because she was sick. But her first ever shirt for the Eagles kills me. But she wanted to put it on anyway today. So even though not feeling good, it's her first ever Eagles shirt if you're watching on YouTube. And that's
a great shirt.
Hurts my heart. But can't do it.
Great shirt, though. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Tell her.
Rally House.
Tell her Uncle Aidan has a parking lot tent hookup for her. And I can get some more apparel.
All right, everybody. I mean, if you are a Philadelphia fan, enjoy the next day or so of Happyville, and then pack the car up and head on over to Anxiety Town because it's time. It is here.
One-way ticket.
They're really in the game now. Are you going to be having a parade, or are you just going to go to work all next week? That's the question.
Oh,
for you,
when you say it like
and the
that,
rest of that city, that is what's on the line, Aidan. So lock yourselves indoors. Stay healthy.
Bubble.
Stay safe.
Bubble it up.
Lock in. Cowboys fans, I know some of you are rooting for the Eagles for many reasons. Other of yous. Wow, I sound Philly. Other of you guys,
welcome,
could never root for the Eagles. So I feel you. It's a tough position to be in as a Cowboys fan right now, especially with not really seeing much light at the end of the tunnel. So, All right. If you're here on YouTube, it's your first time. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. If you're back, we appreciate the love. As always, thank you. Make sure you like and comment below. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, full episodes there. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. We are there for your social media, Birds vs. Boys Pod. And Aidan's been going nuts on TikTok. Streamathon going strong
every night.
And after this game, we dive full into the offseason, ladies and gentlemen. It is either continued coverage of a Super Bowl champion on this show, or it's right into the draft. What's it going to be, Aidan?
I want full coverage from Broad Street at a parade. Finish the job, boys. We love you. Finish it. Finish the job. Finish the Chiefs. Do it. Do it. Do it. Please do it. We need this. We need this. Finish the job. We love you so much. I love these teams. I love these boys. I love Philadelphia. I want
for your sake, Aidan, I'm going to say it one last time. I said it a couple weeks ago. Manifest for you. Walking out of a building on Broad Street, surrounded by 1 million of your closest friends. You walk out and you just start to clap above your head, bring your hands down, and it's the pursuit of happiness moment for Aidan Powers.
This small part of my life.
He drops a toaster into the bathtub. One of the two will happen. All right, everybody, enjoy the Super Bowl.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upside alert. Upside alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there.
There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
That is
the team you promised me you were going to be this year! This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.